Stress is a perception of our experience. It's a perception of our reality. And that's not to say that hard, stressful things don't happen. They do. But how we perceive and experience them sets the tone for what happens in our inner world. And that is where the connection between our nervous system and our internal nourishment or mineral reserves arrive. Welcome to the Embodied Woman podcast with me, Rebecca Wilson. If you believe that fertile energy, creative power, and embodied, resourced, nourished women will change the world, then you are in the right place. This is a space to support you to arrive deeper into relationship with yourself and your body, to explore the multifaceted experience of womanhood. It is my mission to guide women back into connection with their natural essence, to become the living embodiment of their true nature. Are you ready to join a community of women who are taking responsibility for our lives, our energy, women who are centered and rooted in ourselves, connected to our womb space and deeply nourished on a cellular level? If so, let's begin into this week's episode. Welcome to the community, my love. Hello, beautiful, and welcome back to the Embodied Woman podcast. In today's journey, we're exploring minerals and the nervous system because these are two areas of focus that I work with deeply within my practice and within my clients in both group and individual spaces. And I really approach these two topics, shall we say, from a standalone point of view and an integrated experience too. They are both deeply interconnected, as is everything within the physicality, energy, and emotions of our body. But what I have found to be most fascinating throughout my time of holding space for women is the capacity and the availability to regulate and resource their nervous system as they are also walking the path of re-nourishing and nurturing and mineralizing their bodies. So I have held space for women for over a decade now, and I haven't been supporting remineralization that whole time, but I have been deep in the world of the nervous system, embodiment, energy healing, emotional integration. And whilst personally and also professionally, I have witnessed unbelievable shifts in the work that I offer and what is truly available for people when they access regulation, nervous system connection, embodiment, somatic practices. There were at times these moments where I felt like something could possibly be missing and there could be another piece that would really support myself and some of my clients too. So as I began to integrate this journey of balancing minerals, it blew my mind how much more smoothly and easily the body can resource itself, and more so the nervous system, when we are internally nourished. So that's what I want to really speak into and kind of riff upon today. But first of all, I want to take you on a more personal journey. And it's the journey of how I found connection between these two in my body and how balancing minerals have supported me greatly in my relationship with stress. So if you've ever felt overwhelmed, exhausted, or stuck in those cycles of burnout, wondering why life can feel so hard, you can't catch a space of ease or steady ground, then this is the space for you to be right now. There is a delicate dance that happens between minerals and our nervous system, which shapes not only how we physically feel, but also how we perceive and respond to life's challenges, aka stress. So we're going to take this journey to unravel these layers together. But first of all, a little snippet into my life. There was a period of time in my life where everything felt incredibly challenging. It wasn't just the occasional bad day here or there. I really felt overwhelmed. And what I now know to be true is that I was stressed on a cellular level. My nervous system was burnt out and I was absolutely depleted. I was running on empty, felt like, waking up in the morning was a struggle. I was exhausted, felt like I was treading water. And at this time, I had a daily somatic practice. So I couldn't quite work out how I wasn't feeling great. And I couldn't catch those moments of opening or glimmer. No matter how much of that emotional or energetic work that I did, I still found myself feeling anxious, sometimes exhausted, sometimes both, that wired, tired feeling at the same time. But here's something I now know upon reflection. I was experiencing stress on a metabolic and cellular level. And that was putting my body into a constant state of overwhelm. It wasn't just about the external circumstances or challenges that I was moving through in my life. It was something much deeper that was happening inside of my body. The perception of these stressful moments that I was having was deeply influenced by the state of my internal world, in my body, my physiology. I was depleted and undernourished. That is absolutely true. I had probably undereaten for many years of my life and been asking my body to carry out extreme experiences of stress, overwhelm, which clearly led me to a state of burnout. And I could not find my way out of it on that energetic and somatic level because I didn't have the resources and the nutrients and the reserves that was needed to get myself out of it. So the somatic and embodied practices actually became this tumultuous turning of a depleted soil of my body. So I was just continually turning up stress, overwhelm, disconnection, anxiety, depression, over and over. I wasn't pouring anything good into that ground, that soil of my body to, truly make it fertile again. So I just want to take a little sidestep here for us to really understand what stress might be. Because I can sit here and talk about I was in this time of stress and I was having these experiences, but that's so personal to me, and your stress and your life experiences are very personal to you. So let's truly understand what stress is. Well, first of all, stress is a natural part of life, right? No one gets away from it. It absolutely happens because life has its challenges. It has its ups and downs. We move through seasons and chapters and stories. We have gains, we have losses, we have fallouts, we have breakaways, we have reunions. And all of that comes with a level of unease, shall we say, lack of steadiness, and that can bring a sense of stress to the body. The goal is never and should never be to try and eliminate stress entirely. Like, I just need to get rid of all my stress and then I'll live in peace. Well, good luck. I tried it many times. It doesn't work. It's an illusion. It's not possible. I believed if I sat on the top of a mountain somewhere alone and meditated, then I would be stress-free. If I, spent hours on my mat meditating and doing yoga every day, then I would be stress-free. If I created all these walls and barriers to myself and the outside world, then I would be stress-free. It just doesn't work. I tried it all. I even tried becoming so disembodied that I wasn't even living in my body to try and become stress-free. And guess what? It did not work. Stress is a perception of our experience. It's a perception of our reality. And it's not to say that hard, stressful things don't happen. They do. But how we perceive and experience them sets the tone for what happens in our inner world. And that is where the connection between our nervous system and our internal nourishment or mineral reserves arrive. When the nervous system is dysregulated, our minerals become out of balance. Okay, we become a drain of our nutrients and resources. When our nervous system's dysregulated and our minerals are out of balance, our whole system is off. We're off center, we're off kilter. We're not in that kind of rooted, resourced, abundant place within. We could say that we're in some level of chaos or disruption. Okay, there's an imbalance happening of varying degrees. And that creates a distortion for us to view the world through. Because when we are in an internal state of stress and chaos on a metabolic level, we are then viewing all that happens outside of us through the lens of that stress and chaos. We all know that feeling, right? Where everything feels urgent, challenging, hard, overwhelming. And no matter what you do, everything just seems to go wrong. You know, you lose your keys, you stub your toe, you take the wrong turning. There's temporary traffic lights to get into somewhere and you end up being late. And the list can go on. So we get stuck in that repetitive loop of trigger in our body and our nervous system. And therefore in a constant loop of stress and a constant loop of depleting thoughts, feelings, actions, and behaviors. On the opposite, when we are more balanced, our nervous system is closer to regulation and more resourced, we get to see and experience life through that lens, right? You know what it's like when you've had a good sleep, you wake up, you feel great, you feel rested, you've ate well, and you just have a spring in your step. Those moments that could feel challenging, you see them as not a big problem. You've probably got more space or capacity to smile at strangers, say hello, open the door open for someone. You know, those kinds of experiences and feelings happen. The stress isn't something that just happens to us from our external world. It's something that happens deep inside of us. So that's the good news, I guess, because that means that we have the power and we can take responsibility to shift that. So think about for a moment a stressful situation that you've experienced recently, some kind of conflict or disruption. And what if your reaction wasn't just about the situation itself, but about how you were truly feeling on the inside? How nourished were you in that moment? How well rested were you? How well had you taken care of yourself? Or were you in a state of depletion? How did your body feel in that moment when that interaction of conflict or stress arrived? As I began the journey of bringing minerals back into my body and nutrients and building up my reserves and balancing out the mineral patterns of my body, I began to notice how my nervous system started to calm down. That internal kind of jitter or shudder that would often be there in the background began to calm, and there was moments of stillness that would arrive. And this is where I truly felt and understood that stress wasn't this external force that I had decided it was. It was about how my body was able to handle life in its fullest. I began to see that these old feelings of overwhelm and exhaustion and burnout were tied to how well I was resourcing and nourishing and nurturing myself. Our bodies are incredibly sensitive and intricate systems, and minerals do play a key role in maintaining balance on a very deep cellular level. So when the mineral levels in our body are optimal, our nervous system functions smoothly. We can experience resilience, calm, ease, and capacity. But when we're depleted, we often are in that state where we feel like everything is falling apart. Our nervous system becomes overreactive and we experience those heightened stress responses, and our perception of reality becomes incredibly skewed. So think about minerals like a foundation of a house. If the foundation is solid, the house can withstand storms, winds, and other external forces. But if the foundation is cracked or weak or unstable, even the smallest storm can cause major damage. In the same way, when our body's mineral balance is strong, we can handle life stresses. Our nervous system is smooth and easeful. But when we're depleted, even those minor impacts or stresses feel like the world is falling apart. And so the journey of balancing minerals really does begin with our foundational electrolytes. And this is where focusing on gaining a clear understanding of where your body is individually and what your body needs through a HTMA hair test can really give a laser focus of what it is that would help and support your body and your nervous system to find more ease and regulation. And I can absolutely share from my own experience and from the many experiences I've held and witnessed for other people that slowly and gently shifts happen. And these shifts are really gradual and integrated and incredibly sustainable. And we're not looking for a quick overnight shift in the system here, because that can be just as jarring as all of these stresses that we're perceiving. But through focused care and attention and necessary balancing out and rebuilding, the body finds her way back to equilibrium. Balance is the body's greatest desire and wish. So it will allow and want to get itself to there in the most easeful way possible. I've witnessed in many of the women that I've supported how they've all of a sudden, they'll just say to me in a session or a group call, "Oh, I don't think I'm really noticing anything different. However, I had a work meeting the other day and I felt so calm, and usually I would feel anxious," or maybe they felt like they had more capacity in the summer holidays to be with the kids. And then all of a sudden, we have these realizations like, wow, actually, that is so huge. I never used to be able to do that, or I used to feel anxious doing that, or I would wake up feeling exhausted and now I've got, energy. And there are all these subtle shifts that happen, which are happening on this very deep cellular level. And they really do change the trajectory of our day-to-day life and the experiences that we have. So just remember, this isn't about eliminating stress, but about building the internal resources to have the capacity to be with whatever life brings you on a day-to-day, moment-to-moment experience. So thank you for being here and sharing this journey with me. It's always beautiful to, share these wisdoms that arrive. And if this has landed with you in any way, please do connect with me on Instagram. I love to hear about the insights that arrive for you, especially through listening to the podcast. And if this has resonated with you, share it with any women that you feel in your life may also resonate with this message too. And if it's touched you on a much deeper level, then you are maybe feeling that call to balance and nourish and cultivate resource inside of yourself, then scroll on down to the show notes of this episode. There's a link there for my individual mentorship, Radiant Reclamation. This is my signature individual program where we dive deep into metabolic healing, root cause protocol, embodiment, somatic awareness, feminine awakening, and just so much more. It is a multifaceted space for the multifaceted woman. Any questions around that, again, connect with me, and just sending you loads of love. Have a really beautiful day. Thank you for joining me on this journey today. If you loved this episode, please share it far and wide with your sisterhood and community. You can dive deep into all of my offerings via rebecca-wilson.com. Links to all offerings are below in the show notes of this episode. If you would love to support the podcast, please like, subscribe, download, and share the episodes so my work and this message can reach more women around the world. Remember, my love, you are here to live a life fully, deeply inhabiting your body and your divine nature. I am here to show you how. Hey love, I'm just dropping in to share that the doors are open for the waitlist for the next round of Embodied Woman Group Mentorship. This is a journey like no other, a deep dive into embodiment, somatic awareness, self-honoring and healing practices, the journey of remineralization, awakening your feminine energy and restoring the resources within your heart, body, wombs, cells, and overall vitality. This is my signature program, which launches twice a year. There are limited spaces for the intake. If you're feeling the call, head on down to the show notes in this episode, click the link and join the waitlist where you will receive more information soon. Hope you enjoyed the episode of this podcast. Sending you so much love. Have a beautiful, vital, and nourishing day.